Hello everyone, I'm your average redditor. Today we will be looking at people who share their Area 51 raid predictions. For those out of the loop, a troll created a Facebook event to raid Area 51 as a joke, and now over 1 million people said that they are going. What's your prediction for the Area 51 raid? A dozen people show up, stare awkwardly at one another in the middle of the desert without speaking for several minutes. They sit, hope more show up. One checks Pokemon Go. Eventually, they gain enough confidence to break the ice. They go back home and create some dope memes for the rest of us that were just playing along with the joke. If it actually happened, the military has a great opportunity to test new crowd dispersal technology and non-lethal weapons. Conspiracy theory: this whole event was set up by the military to test their new crowd dispersal technology and non-lethal weapons. I really want 300,000 people to show up. Bunch of food trucks and $7 bottled water sellers show up. 150 people also show up, eat and leave. 12 lonely people who are gonna stand out there, get ready, and then not. Government's gonna have to waste a lot of money on prepping for an actual event, though. The people are gonna be warned they can be legally shot if they enter and storm, and then they back off. B. They enter and get killed. C. They discover the minefield. 97% of the folks who've said they were going won't attend. The remaining 3% will cancel due to lack of numbers. We piss off the aliens and they take over the earth. 10 people actually show up and they are told to go away. They go away. The end. But not before we are tormented for the next few months with Area 51 memes. A boring event that in 10 years will be spun into a Hollywood action film that makes millions. 15 people show up and are detained within minutes. News talking heads: although a plan was made to storm Area 51 on social media, government officials were able to confirm the raid did not take place and Area 51 was not breached. Local blurbs around the country: insert name, S family is seeking answers after name disappeared after making plans to visit Area 51. Alternatively, they all get flashy thinged and don't remember being there. Let's just say a few thousand idiots manage to show up and think they can pull it off. Best case scenario: they make a run for the fence line. The base responds with an acoustic non-lethal device. Roughly 1/3 of the group goes down, clutching their ears. Many more go down as they get closer, determined to make the fence but ultimately failing. So maybe low 4-figure number actually make it within a few hundred yards of the fence line, in a significantly degraded state from a single non-lethal device. Cue the riot agents. A volley of tear gas canisters turns the last 5 football fields of distance to the fence line into a densely fogged snot fest. Another 50 to 60% become combat ineffective. Between the ringing in their ears, their inability to breathe, and the inability to see through the fog of gas, most of the group is unwilling or unable to proceed. A small number of intrepid individuals make it within 100 yards of the fence line. The searchlights come on. Between the fog, the tears, and millions of lumens of light in their face, they can't see what the hell is going on. They shout directions at one another, but now they are only a few hundred yards from the acoustic devices, and nobody can hear shit. Except for the first salvo of warning shots from a 50 caliber HMG mounted to a Humvee nearby. Most of them scatter. A couple of brave souls aren't intimidated by the warning shots. By sheer dumb luck, they get to the fence line and pull out the wire cutters. One shouts, "We did it, Reddit," just before being turned into a fine pink mist by the 50s. On the base side, most of the 20 people required to actually repel this attack go back to the cafeteria laughing about it. The .50 gunner gets sent home, then to critical incident counseling. The other hundreds of guys who were on call up bitch that the morons didn't even break through the fence and trigger a real response, and that they wasted their night for nothing. Worst case scenario: some idiot or group of idiots in the crowd produces a firearm, and they manage to put effective fire on some of the guards. The guards respond in accordance with the row issued to them, defend the facility with reasonable force, up to and including deadly force if required. Simultaneously, several Humvees open up with .50 calibers and 7.62mm machine gun fire. Along with whoever produced a firearm, Hundreds of people who thought they were badass a few minutes ago are now casualties, lying on the ground wailing. Most people scatter, but more gunshots are heard from the crowd, each met with a burst of HMG fire in return, resulting in another pile of bodies. The sun rises on a battlefield that looks like a Game of Thrones scene. There are a few dead idiots with guns, and a lot of dead unarmed people who just got too close to the real idiots. Some people live streamed the whole thing, their phones still broadcasting from their lifeless hands. Aliens surrender peacefully, not a shot is fired. They're arrested and found guilty of possession of space narcotics with intent to distribute. Sentenced to 5 to 10. The few people who actually decide to show will get disheartened once they realize just how remote the extraterrestrial highway is and how many hours of sagebrush they'll have to drive through to walk up to a perimeter fence and be stopped by authorities who stop everyone who even pulls over to pee remotely close to Area 51. Crazies regularly try to get onto Area 51. The government has experience dealing with this, or the government will just shut down the extraterrestrial highway for a while if they think it'll be a big deal. It's not like there are a lot of ways to access Area 51. 23 people will show up and stand here, discussing about how the others betrayed them. Some soldiers on a jeep will come and tell them to move. End of story. To all the people saying numbers like 10 to 12 people, keep in mind, at this point, over 400k have RSVP'd. If 0.1% of them show up, that's still 400 people. I agree with everyone that the overwhelming majority of those signed up won't go. Hell, I'm signed up, ain't going though, but this number is so big that even 0.1% is hundreds of people, and people are really stupid. I'm betting a few hundred show up and are promptly met with increased security and crowd dispersal methods. Won't happen, mostly because the people committing to do it probably forgot it involves going outside, in the desert, in the middle of summer. Also, they probably don't have a good address for their GPS, and there's no paved or covered parking. US military laughs in 3000 RPM. The army obliterates 400,000 anim nerds with heavy artillery. Aliens will disintegrate everyone and begin their global takeover early. This is when we find out all world leaders are actually aliens in disguise. But the invasion will be put down when Vladimir Putin, who killed the alien that tried to mimic him, rides in on a white flying unicorn, naked from the waist up, shooting the power of the sun at the invading aliens and burns them all to ashes. I work on a Nevada military base as security, though not at Area 51. If this thing really kicks off, they'll withdraw down to a small protected area with the entire base in lockdown. All non-essential personnel will leave. Everything underground will be locked up tight. Everything above ground won't matter. Simple fact is, if 100,000 people show up, there is nothing we can do. We will not send in A-10s to mow down civilians to protect what is mostly empty desert. 90% of Nevada's controlled by the US government, so it will be a show of force, then withdrawal. Civilians aren't getting into bunkers without some extremely heavy duty equipment. That equipment will be targeted. So it will be a lot of hot sweaty hippies and Antifa wandering around making a mess and accomplishing nothing. Let me know what your predictions are for the raid down in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I will be uploading every day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.